Obama shouldn't try to ban guns. He should ban niggas. Did you know that 52% of all murders in the United States were committed by black people? Did you also know that black people only represent 13% of all people in the United States? What does that tell you? What does that say to you? When someone goes and shoots up a school, your president says we need to take away guns. But what about when someone holds a city so hostage that they call it Chirac? What would you call those people? What would you call them, Mr. President? I'd call them savages. I'd call them thugs. But I'll just use the word that you probably use on your census. African American or black. See, black people don't like it when other races look at them as savages, but if all of the murders that were done in your city, state, town, country, continent, world, when half of them were done by 13% of the population, what would you think? That's what the United States is dealing with. 13% of its people are committing over half of its murders, but you can't say anything about it. Now, if white people were killing black people, say if they were black people being killed, and 50% of all black people were being killed by white people, what would we say? We'd say we have a race problem. We'd say whites were racist. Imagine if 50% of anything that was so-called looked up to were black. What if 50% of all college graduates were black? Well, guess what black people would have you do? Well, for those of you who've been following the Oscar incident, you'd know that black people would be wanting a pat on the back, a butt kissing. And if you didn't do it, you were racist. If you didn't give them an award for it, you were racist, because they'd say only 13% of the population are black, but 50% of doctors are black. 50% of lawyers are black. 50% of engineers, 50% of graduates. What if 50% of people in Harvard were black? They'd want you to cheer for them. Need to give us our propers. But apparently you can't say nothing about black people that they deem bad. If a white man said, oh, I have no problem with interracial dating, I just don't think I could do it. I'd rather stick to my own kind. He'd be called racist immediately. Where's this coming from? It's coming from the idea that white liberals have made it to where telling the truth is a bad thing. And that's why I look at you and think, if we ban guns, guns don't have a mind of their own. Guns don't walk down the street and kill people. Guess who does? Niggas. The numbers bear it out. Over 50% of all murders in the United States are committed by niggas. Now, white people aren't allowed to say that. We think that a woman is racist if she clutches her purse when she sees a black person. Or if you walk on the other side of the street, you see a gang of black folks. Well, let me tell you what I do. If I get in the elevator and a bunch of pants sagging, tattooed up black dudes get in that elevator with me, guess what I do? I get the hell out. If there are more people murdered in a day by niggly bears than in a year by grizzly bears. Niggly bears are out there just killing everyone that they can. But people are told that they're racist if they say they want to avoid them. Black people don't like niggas. They don't. We dislike them. They scare us. Because we know one thing about niggas that regular black people, there's a big difference. Niggas have nothing to live for. Niggas don't value life. Niggas don't have to value life. Niggas don't have to have anything to live for. We have white liberals who make them feel bad about everything they do purposely. See, a nigga could go out and kill 32 people. A white liberal's gonna say it was because his mama didn't have money. For some reason, because of an economic circumstance, you are able to lose your morality, your moral responsibility of not murdering another person. For some reason, there are other poor people in the United States. There are poor whites. There are poor all kinds of people. And yet they're not murdering at the same rate in which black people are. Black Lives Matter. 16 shots. Now, I know black folks who've been shot 16 times. by other black folks. I know black children who were shot a whole bunch of times, Tyshawn Lee, by black folks, and yet there was no march. There was no outcry by the NAACP. There was no nothing. Nobody even talks about it to this day. The question is why? Why? You want to ban guns, Barack Obama, and that's understandable, but this is to explain that video. You'd have a greater success banning niggers than guns. Because again, guns don't think. The person behind the trigger is the one that's supposed to think. But when a nigger's the one that owns it, it acts. It doesn't think. There are a lot of good black people in the United States who have to remain silent because they fear the retribution of niggas. Because niggas are so violent that if you speak out against what it is that they're doing, they will kill you. You're not supposed to want to speak the English language correctly. You're not supposed to want to wear your pants at your waist. Someday, black people are going to realize that niggas are your downfall. Someday, you're going to realize that white people are having a hard time figuring out the difference between niggas and blacks. Or maybe they treat niggas and blacks like I treat snakes. I don't want to figure out which one is poisonous. Because even if it's not poisonous, I think it still hurt me. Maybe that's how they're starting to look at us. Too many of us are looking at niggas and identifying with them. We're looking at niggas and actually saying, that's my nigga. One day we're going to have to make a choice. Them or us. Because remember, right now, that 13% is murdering 52% of all murders that happen in your nation. So Barack Obama, if you think guns are bad, where do you put one in a nigger's hand?